Hey everyone, welcome along. Welcome to Steelhorse Station. We are heading back to Vintage Oaks. And in fact, I'm standing in the porch, so it's a bit dark. But we are back with you. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend and a good last week. We are on the 2nd day of October. I moved on just a fraction from where I last caught up with everyone. It's looking like it's a little quiet out there in cyberspace, but hopefully folks might drop in and join us in due course. What are these cows doing here? Let's have a bit of a look. Feed wise, we're okay for the moment. Pasture extension is good. What about the dairy itself? Let's have a look. Cow shed itself could do with some food, so we might deal with that before the end of the day. And there is a ton of milk in there, so we might grab the truck and just fill that up and send it down. We'll try and get all of the remaining corn in, so that will be a plan. And we'll also do a run across to try and get those silage bales off the grass fields just over yonder. Let's try not to run over this cow that's catching the early morning rays. Now let's fill you up and see how we go. It's been a busy week on many fronts. Another Grand Prix out the way, and many bits and pieces announced on the FS25 front, so good to see everyone that managed to or was invited, the 20 or so folks that went to the US, and I understand another bunch in Germany. All seemed to have a good time and access some good information, so that was informative. Let's see how we're going here. We're going to head down to Dairy Load Cheese. Milk Drop South Dairy is the one we want. Then we'll just run back. Actually, what we might do, we do have a couple of contracts for lime, which we can fill this guy up and potentially send him off. I don't know if I've got a point that's near one of the fields. We can have a look. See how we go. Welcome along if you've just joined. We're only just kicking off today. So what do I want? I want field 100 or 120, I think. Tootle down the okay, 120 is right up beside Paul's place. So, or Paul's old place, I should say. So what we'll do, what's that? That's, I reckon we can, excuse me, hay fevers. Oh, we might go and get some more fuel before we pop up there. Would be a smart move. let's just fill up while we're sitting here. Now we want to send you to full, where is it? Paul's car park would be nice and close to that field, I reckon. We'll still be able to get to there even if the gate is shut, which I suspect it will be since the bank took it over. Right. Let's see now. We wanted to jump across. Not ready for... Might as well take you to the sugar factory and empty you out. The other fields aren't quite ready for the sugar beet yet, I don't think. Or they may be. I haven't looked since I rolled the day forward, so we'll have a look at that. There's our milk tanker just arriving to drop off, so we can unload him while we're here. We've probably got plenty of milk over there in that. Might as well do the needful on all of the productions while we're here. Speak of the devil, there's trucks everywhere. You got a bunch of sunflowers. Which one are you? Let's go and empty you into the pig food. Okay, here's the pig food factory actually traveling. Right, so we've got sunflowers down here now, which means there we go. We've got no, that's barley. There we go. Wheat, sugar beet, corn. That's the one we want. Activate you. Now, you can go back up to 147. Which is the cornfield that we will be working on. What have you got on board? You've got corn, speaking of which. Oh, that's it. You got to do... Don't quite understand why you didn't make it into the pig food factory the first time, but this will do. Unload first. Plenty of corn. Good. What are you waiting for? What? How did it do that? Oh, I've got it set up back to front. I don't want to load to deliver. Pick up at 147. That's why it had a full tank of grain, because it did that. Operator error. Now we should be good. That looks better. Let's try not to get run over by our own truck. Let's see if we can pop you on that. Fills you up. We haven't put anything in that dessert factory yet, but the dairy is chugging along nicely, so it should be sending chocolate in here, which it is. Good stuff. So when you're all out, we'll head you back to Penny's farm. And take it from there. So you can go back to park at Penny's. That'll do. That wasn't the one. No. Right, you're full of silage. So I'm just progressively selling down the contents of this silage clamp just to get the cash balance up. It's not best price for silage, but it's getting to be within 10%, so that's good enough. So just send you up to the animal dealer. Now, oh, we were going to have a look at our fields while we were here. So, sugar beet is still growing by the looks, but our corn is good. So, guessing you're waiting for a truck up there. Yep. Which should be here shortly. Let's wander over. Corn's looking like it's in good shape. Just the odd stalk we missed on the way past. It's looking a bit quiet there in chat. Maybe people doing something interesting that I'm not aware of. That'd be good if they are. Come on, where's the truck? There it is. He's still got a little way to get back. There's the other one. He's much closer. We should be able to see him coming up the... If we stand on the top there, he should come into sight round the corner shortly. Welcome along. You've just popped in. We've only just begun. Bit of a quiet start to the week. Come on, where's that truck gone? There he is. That's the one we want. This you pop in. We can take you off drive. Run around and empty our combine. Shouldn't take too long to get the corn off this field, and then we've just got the other one there. The things we need to do is get the mulcher out and mulch the field we took the sunflowers off last time. That would be a good idea. Just about done. Let's put that auger back in. Head off. Have we got course place set up here? Looks like I do. So that's the one I wanted. Let's go on and get a load of bales, and we can send them across to the animal dealer to sell also. Try and keep it on the road. Just a couple of overhanging branches to make it challenging. I reckon we go all the way to the top to finish that field. There are still plenty of bales here, although we will need to keep, I'm not sure how much. Got plenty of silage dotted around the place. I'm just not sure how much Penny's got close by to make animal feed with. That's what I wanted. Go up and get the ones at the other end. And then we can get the slurry spread on the grass here just in time for the next cut, which was the plan. Just dip down here. We have a couple on the way past. It's a good load. Beef cattle are coming along nicely. Might check the feed levels down there too. There should be plenty of hay left. Oh, there's one we missed. $25. And we're full. Send you back across to the animal dealer. And that should be good. Let's zip through a couple here. I don't think I'll take the auger wagon down for the corn. Let's just drive this truck around. Where's our harvesters coming up behind us here? He should be ready for an unload. Sam, g'day sir, welcome along. It's beginning to think everyone was hiding from me today. How is your morning unfolding? Good, I hope. As you can see, the corn harvest is underway. Just go to the corner there. Let him turn. Oh, I might as well. I've got a full load there. Oh, I'm sorry. That laugh is, I know how you feel. Well, not exactly how you feel, but I understand what it's like. Absolutely no need to apologize. If I put you to sleep, that's a good thing, right? I'm sorry I can't offer you a bigger audience to... Yeah, what's going on here? There we go. To help keep you entertained. Now, are we actually doing anything here or not? Let's just... Yes, we are. Getting a little bit. Hey, take a whiskey over the audience. Oh, there you go. Have a double on me. It has a calming effect. All right, now let's just Swing you around. Up, up. Bit of spring. Yeah, there you go. That will also do the trick. Although I've never been a particularly big Irish coffee fan, especially if it's morning. I'm sort of a Irish coffee but double the coffee sort of guy. But I understand that you may not want the caffeine. Just going to have a little stripe to do right up the centre there by the looks. No, I'm not an anything sort of alcohol drinker these days. I was never a big drinker. But couple of pesky health issues and a batch of medications, and it's just simpler all round to pass on the alcohol. That doesn't mean anybody else has to, but right. Now, what I was worried about was I get a bit nervous on particularly on a Monday morning when John Senior isn't in the stream first thing, because he's been a particularly kind supporter of mine and a bit of a fixture at the start of streams for quite a while now. But I know he's got a few health issues, and I just get nervous when he hasn't left me a message and he's not there, and I just hope he's okay and he hasn't had another turn. But anyway, I'll sort of send him psychic messages and that he'll be fine, that he might have a better offer and be dealing with that. That's always possible. Now, I'm not going to do the second load of silage for the minute, of slurry for the mo. Let's back that down there. Try not to run over the manure. Thank you. Feeling a bit weary myself, actually. I've spent the afternoon playing tech support for my aging parents, which is a bit taxing on occasions. I think I've got most of it working. Right, we're going to leave that there, and let's go see what's the next vehicle that pops up. Nope. Don't need you. Oh, the harvester's gone and got itself stuck on the truck at the other end, but it looks. Really? Done nothing since I was last here. You smart enough to figure it out, or have you given up? Nope. See what happens if we go with the next waypoint. Well, that might actually be good enough. Okay. Excellent. We're still on track. That's what we need. So, oop, what do we got here? Yeah, oh, I see. I did it to myself. Well, it looks. Field 20's in there, so let's see, if I move out the way, will those trucks sort it out? Possibly. And how do I get onto field 20? It's on the other side of that pond. Let's duck up here. Oh, right there, in fact. There be field 20. Might as well spread some lime while we're here. Welcome along. Someone else has just popped in. Great to have you there. Feel free to announce yourself or not in the chat as your mood takes you. Tam may have drifted off to sleep. He's had a tough night by the sounds of things. And I'm just jumping around from field to field. Oh, he's still there. He's just making all the coffees. Well, I think you have company, but I couldn't tell you who it is. It's just showing me that someone poked their head in. Could be Mr. Haythornwaite. I'm guessing he's at work. It's not a holiday in England as far as I'm aware, but they do tend to have a few. And one tank of lime is not going to be enough. Someone else has just joined. Welcome. Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, bit stiff. No. Didn't like what they saw. They're gone. Right, where is the nearest place to fill up with lime, I wonder? Well, now that we don't own this farm over the road, anybody's guess. Might have to go back to... Let's just go to Ringo's. I haven't put a load point. I did. I caught both. So I haven't watched all of it, I only got about halfway through. They had Kermit on, and they were talking, asking him some more questions about FS25 and recapping on their wonderful trip to Racine last week and their opportunity with 16 or 18 other content creators to as I said, I've only had the first few minutes. I actually enjoyed, if you haven't seen them, both Argsy and FSG's bits on their time in Racine, and even Mr. Sealy P's for that matter, just because, you know, he was just, well, they were all they were just so excited to be there, and they got up close and personal with some really neat gear by the looks of things. If you didn't see that case, put on a great day for them, and they each got a 60 to 90 minutes with FS25, so they've had a bit of a first-hand dabble. So that was cool. I guess I enjoyed all of that just because it was nice. You know, I've got some appreciation. G'day, Grant. Welcome in, sir. I've got some appreciation for the amount of work they must do in order to have built their channels. I mean, you know, I'm a mug amateur completely by comparison, but I still know how much time and effort it takes to consistently publish videos, even make streams and all that sort of stuff. So when you see giants doing something to look after the creators that are actually really building their community, then that's a good thing. What did I come here for? I think I did everything I wanted to do here. We can look in the store while we're here. Oh, we don't need one of those. What's that? That's a 9 meter. No, I don't think we need to buy one. Already got an 800 and a 3670. Don't feel the need to buy any of that. Okay, let's flog some of this lot. Turn you off. What I did find very interesting watching a variety of different bits over the last week from FS25 was that, and forgive me if I discount the hype a little bit, because I'm not kind of bought in to all of the marketing, but it's fair to say I had very much mixed feelings watching a couple of the bits of gameplay when, you know, various folks got to try FS25 without all of the direct marketing glitz. And that my takeaways were a little different to what I've seen others talk about. Firstly, it struck me rather significantly that the big market that Giants is going for with the initial release of FS25 is console. And so if you're a console player and coming from FS22, I think you're going to get a big step up. What am I looking for here? I'm trying to send you to Clamp South, aren't I? Oh, really? You're going to do that? We should have tell me before it started off that it's going to try and do a U-turn. Can you figure it out from there? You might be able to. Okay, we'll move this truck and see what happens. Well, so I draw it into two categories. Damn, and that's why I made the distinction. So I think if you're a console player, there's a whole bunch of functionality at various different levels that PC players are used to, but that you haven't had. And the biggest parts of it have to do with potentially auto drive, the AI, and GPS. And I think what they've done in building that capability into the crap, I need to hit that button first, into the game, will make an enormous difference to the experience for console players. And that's a huge market, so I, you know, all props to them. If it works fine, that's great. Yes, I did have exactly the same reaction. It's like I thought, oh well, there you go. And that kind of led me to my my second observation, which is conversely for PC players, I'm becoming increasingly concerned that there'll be next to nothing in the initial release. I mean, there will be a handful of new machines. There will be, you know, the beginnings of some new function. But I went from being neutral to a little bit negative myself, unfortunately, and I'll explain why in a minute when I figure out where I'm trying to send this. Let's send this to Penny's yard will be good. Are you able to get there from that angle, or are you going to just be a nuisance? You should be. Come on. It's not a hard question. You got enough air? There you go. You could do it. Yeah, so what alarmed me was that when you, and Argsy's stream actually unintentionally is game footage, unintentionally showed it really quite in your face. Yeah, that's it. Your PC players are getting a little bit of new kit. Now, the thing is, I think I think there's more there, but I think it's going to take a lot of time. Yeah, well, I've got so I can't avoid my professional bias in that regard, and the reason you do that, and this is why I'm looking to jump into the picture in the, there we go, into the, so if you look at, if you take a minute and go back and give Argsy a couple of extra views on his gameplay footage, when he starts out on the field, have a look at the field boundary, and in fact when he does his first row in the crop, and the level of tessellation in the crop line, and I was astonished. So at least this sort of looks rough and semi-natural, but this is a 4x map, right? What he was playing on was a 2x map, and the tessellation in the terrain angle was, you know, this sort of length, which means the resolution of the field boundary is terrible. Or the, you know, the crop elements that it's showing. Now, the only reason I can think of that you would do that and show it that way is because you got performance issues, because I was quite excited by the stuff that was talked about at GameCon when they said that at the field edge they'd increased the resolution to something like 12 triangles per meter with the numbers that sort of ring out, whereas what we saw last week was worse than what we've got now on 4x, and that really surprised me. And as I say, you know, that the skeptic in me says, well, the only reason you would do that is because you dial back the functionality, you put a bunch of constraints in so that your content creators aren't generating heaps of performance issues when they try and demonstrate it. That's all I could think of. So to me, and you know, I hope I'm wrong, but that just feels like, from a PC player standpoint, the initial launch might be a bit rocky. Now, do I think they'll get there in due course? Absolutely. Right. I think one of the things they've probably tried to do is, and probably is a big weasel word, I know that, but is build a whole bunch of bits of functionality into the engines underneath. But I think we'll be really waiting for the first of the serious mod maps to come out to show us what it can really be. I think we're going to get a series of them. I fear we are going to get a series of them, Tam. I think the simple answer, Grant, is that they'd spent so much money lining up getting the creators in two places, both in Germany and in the US, including, you know, significant bookings with their partners, that they had to show something. And so what they showed was the safest thing they could, that they could put out. I'm not at all a fan of what I've seen of the fog so far. I got to say, it looked much more like smog on the shots that I saw from several of the creators, it was kind of like an inversion layer sitting over the field. But again, the mechanics there, you know, if their maps aren't necessarily the best to deal with it, then what mod makers can do with it is a whole other thing. No, I'm not giving them a leave pass. I think it's disappointing, but it's just another reminder that at the end of the day, they're a small company and they are really dependent on the modders to push the envelope of what can be done with, you know, their overall product. And as I say, you know, the main game in them for making money is the console market. It's kind of my only conclusion. Now I can't, you know, I don't criticize that. They've got to make money at the end of the day, but I am really scratching my head personally because I don't, if I'm even halfway right, I don't know what role to play. I don't know what to do with my own tiny little channel, to be honest. Now, it might all become clear in the fullness of time. I'm not, you know, it's not the end of the world. I'm not super concerned about it. Let's go to the pig factory. But it's kind of like, well, it, you know, if the reality of the situation. G'day, Mustard Seed. How is the wonderful world of Canada? If they you know, the big creators will stitch up a lot of the content on launch and all those sort of things, but I don't have a good idea how to find my own way in that for the minute. And particularly when I look at something like, you know, the gameplay experience that we've got here, albeit with lots of mods, and it's like I've got this strong suspicion we're going to be nowhere near that on launch. But for console players, as I say, I think it'll be a really positive experience. Or really might be a bit strong, but a positive experience, because I think they'll have lots of new function and capability, which will help that enormously. I've just been running through a few observations of the various insights I took from the range of creator videos over the last week about FS25. Mustard Seed? I also had a good couple of hours this morning watching the Mexico Grand Prix. Watching all of the various role players perform somewhat true to form. It is not long till the release. I'm waiting for a comment from Grant Cam to say, and neither you should, it's rubbish. It's not the same. Drift Masters. No, I couldn't. I recognize the skill in drifting, but I can't myself get my head into it, to be honest. You're just struggling to find something constructive and positive to say. You Grant. I know. I reckon so one of the positive things I would offer is that young Liam's only been on the scene 5 minutes and he's already seriously inside Perez's head. Which is not helping Perez at all. Running out of teams and drivers to support. I don't know. I've got high hopes for Carlos at Williams. I reckon by the end of next season, Mr. Newey will be making a significant difference at Aston Martin. So that could get interesting. I reckon Norris will get there in the end. He's still got some growth to do. I'm not sure that he'll get there this year. Yeah, there's a bit of a pattern in that. It's going to be quite funny too. So I think the combination of him and Charles, and don't get me wrong, I quite like Charles as a driver. He's certainly a quick qualifier, but I think the combination of him and Lewis at Ferrari could be a very interesting combination. Oh, John, good to see you, sir. Glad to see you there. I was getting a bit worried about you, my friend. Yeah, oh yes, that was announced a long time ago, Cam. Beginning of the season, that was news. So the big question I have, Grant, from this morning's fiasco was, will Verstappen get a driving standards penalty as well as to go on top of his in-race time penalties? Because whilst the first move I just put down as typical Verstappen, right? He's done it 15 times and they normally don't penalise him as severely. The second one was outright dangerous. And well, sorry, they're all dangerous, but was completely out of order would be my view. If a kid did that in karting, he'd be rubbed out for a season. Whoa. Well, we're getting our way through this, so that's good. I'll let him go for a bit. Oop. Might go and fill up with fuel. That might be a good idea. Before we conk out on the fields. But even that's just a slap on the wrist. Oh well, we'll have to wait and see. If it all goes true to form, we'll have weather to contend with in Brazil as well, so that could spice things up. Well, see, the thing is that's what it is. Okay, John, thank you. The thing is, in Australia, most sport is community focused. Like, there's a professional layer to everything. Pray tell, Grant. Right. He obviously has some form that I am not familiar with. I mean, I know who he is, but I don't remember much about his career. Martin Brundle was fairly direct about what he thought about it in commentary. He didn't go on and on. He just... right. Oh, maybe it will be. I'm sure Joss will give him a stern talking to. Where are we up to here? So we're getting through this. That field doesn't need... Oh, that one's full. That's why I mentioned him. Somewhere in the depths of my memory, I recall some history, but I couldn't tell you any details. Just rings a bell. Pig food factory, pick up from there, go to there, do that. Right. So now that they've changed the clocks, John, I hope that your curtains don't fade and that the farmers can still remember to milk the cows. These being the principal reasons against changing for daylight savings in some of our more unusual Australian jurisdictions. This is all good. Let's go and get a mulcher to stick on the other sunflower field. Yes, well, I don't think the discussions about the fact that they're now third in the Constructors' Championship will be going over particularly well. Right. And see, that's one that actually makes some sense to me, John. What do I want here? I want... I can put you on. Let's just do that. You can drive the mulcher. Come on. That's so we can get out the gate. Tilt you up a little bit. Oh, big sneeze coming. Excuse me. I probably need a sneeze button. Thank you, Dean. Yeah, self-immolation not required. Whilst I have a suspicion, I know I will not elaborate. We can talk about FS25. In fact, if you want a bit of light entertainment, go and have a look at from the today's episode of From the Field, the Argsy version of it, and there's a numpty who's commented on it, who I couldn't think of anything appropriately witty or useful to comment myself, but he's obviously watched the stream and he's spammed a question that's not relevant to what they're streaming, to the point that Argsy's felt compelled to ban him in chat. So then when the footages come up, he's tried to blame the moderators, and Argsy's come up and said, well, no, actually it was me, and it was because you were asking something that wasn't relevant to the conversation we were trying to have with Kermit. And so this guy's had a, 3 or 4 comment back and forth with Argsy, still not paying any attention, and then now he's clearly going to, after thousands of hours playing on mobile, he's going to delete the game, all because Argsy wouldn't ask a question. It's absolutely hysterical. Argsy handles it quite well, but it's just kind of like, wow. Right. We just tootle around here and get these stalks dealt with. They look a bit mean. Wouldn't want to fall over. Absolutely. Bucket, spade, all toys out of the cot. Yes, Jason. Yeah, if you just pull up the page, it's the only comment, because, I mean, most people don't comment on live streams to begin with. But he's gone to all the trouble of commenting on a page that, at the time I looked at it, had 40 views. and he's picking a fight with Argsy about it. And I'm like, really? And could you pick a more reasonable guy to try and make an argument with? Yep. what was even more bizarre is it wasn't really anything to do with FS25 at all. That was actually the problem. He appeared to be trying to make out that Giants needed to release more mobile content, but it was just bizarre. But if you want a feel-good experience, watch the first few minutes of Mr. Sealy P at the Inch, wherever they were in Racine. Is that Wisconsin? Whatever, I forget which state it was. He was like kid in a candy store. He was so excited. And when he came out and they said he could drive the big case 715, he just didn't know what to say. It was classic Mr. Sealy P, feel good, just makes you feel better watching it. I find with those sort of things, even if I don't watch it all, I turn it off and I think, couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke. There are at least some nice people in the world. Yeah, exactly, mustard seed. Well, when you think as a console content creator, he generally gets quite a raw deal compared to the other PC-based guys, because Giants really don't know how to deal with him. So I always like it when he's included in stuff, because he works so hard. And yeah, it's his choice, and they don't owe him anything, but even so, he provides a significant community service with his mod reviews. Oh. I was saying to Tam earlier, before most of you rolled in, I think I spent the afternoon today helping my aging parents with technology issues. Yes. And I can reliably report that Microsoft have found new ways and plumbed new depths in ways to annoy and frustrate me. They're beauties, aren't they, Grant? I was disappointed that I couldn't think of something witty to post myself, but in the end I decided to leave well enough alone. He was exceptionally diplomatic. Probably because he didn't want to have to deal with that numpty and everything that he releases between now and Christmas. But yes, Microsoft with Office, Windows 11 and Office 365 have found new ways to confound and frustrate the average consumer. Well, so I was prepared for the fact that, like, I've been resisting going to Windows 11 for my own gear for some time now because I didn't like aspects of what I knew about it. But I had no choice with my father's machine because it died, and I had to replace it. And then, of course, I had to try and get the data off his old one, which wasn't that old. It was it's only a 3-year-old all-in-one that was perfectly adequate for him. But anyway, it died. So he was in a panic because he was worried that he was going to lose a whole heap of data and research that he'd been working on for the bowling club for their 50-year anniversary. So anyway, I got the new device. That was all well and good. But then when I went to I was able to take apart his all-in-one, and there was a standard SSD in there, so I was pretty confident I should be able to get the data on it. The machine we got him had 2 SSD slots, so I plugged it in, booted it up, looked in File Explorer, it's all there. Okay, I'm feeling good at this point. I click on the D drive to see what sort of shape it's in, and it says it's encrypted, and that I need to enter the recovery key. It's like, what? Now, I understand the concepts, but I'm not aware. Well, he would never have made the decision to encrypt his own drive, but somewhere along the line it had become encrypted, and it took me several hours the other day to figure out that luckily he did have a Microsoft login account, so we'd set that up and it had recorded it. But it's a 48-digit number. And it's bizarre because you can display, there's a system level command, I'm not going to go into the whys and wherefores, where you can display it in the console window, but it displays it in as a hex number, but it wants decimal in the field, and you can't cut and paste into the field. So, and it's 48 digits long, and it's like, oh really? So anyway, we solved that. But today's big discovery was that when you try and reinstall Office, it wants to force his Microsoft assumes that you want to avail yourselves of their OneDrive cloud services, and therefore you don't need a full function Outlook, because you'll just copy all of your email and your archives into the Microsoft cloud and access it from there. And it's like, well, actually, how about no? So several more hours invested, because when I did finally circumvent part of that, I couldn't understand why, despite apparently accessing his recovered mail file, we couldn't see any of his folders. Well, it turns out that the version of Outlook that Office 365 just installs by default is the browser version, not the full function version. And the browser version assumes that you're connecting to the cloud storage. Yeah, well, see, I didn't even know there was such a thing as Classic. But it turns out they're actually two completely different versions of Outlook. So anyway, it's like everything. Once you get under it all, it's like there's often ways around it, but I found new ways to waste my time and confound me. But that's my rant for the day. That's why I'm enjoying mulching a field. And Jason, I think you missed, I did talk a little bit about some observation and insights with FS25 based on what we've seen of the game footage and things. And I reckon as a console user, particularly if you don't manage to buy your PC, I wouldn't rush necessarily to buy yourself a new PC just for FS25. I reckon you'll get a lot more out of a console version, because I think what we're going to get offers a lot more to console in terms of GPS and other functionality. G'day, Argsy. We've sent several people over to check out the numpty commenting on your stream. Before anybody jumps in and asks you questions, if you've got time, congratulations, and it was fabulous to see that you got that trip to the US. I thought it was thoroughly well deserved, sir. And I'm sure it was an enormous amount of fun, even as Grant pointed out, you did break the AI within 90 seconds of sitting down at the new version. I can only imagine. But as I tried to convey to FSG in a comment that I posted on one of his, I think it was a fabulous piece of recognition for the, significant number of you that have put thousands of hours into promoting their game. The palette was just perfect. As I was saying to the folks that were here earlier, the conclusions I reached were a little bit different necessarily to the ones that I heard the creators talking about. It's not a right or wrong thing or commentary, it's just being able to watch a few of them from afar and not having any background contracts. I can take some different observations. The first was that I can see an enormous amount of upside for the console community in what will be available on day one, and it seems pretty evident to me that that's been the focus, and that's not a bad thing. That's just a reality, right? So that's good to see. Unfortunately, that what they had you guys playing on, what I saw was, and I'm not looking for you to comment or either yes or no, because I know that's, you know, once you've been behind the curtain, it's hard to be drawn in these conversations, so I'm not looking for a comment. But it appeared to me, or let's just say the tessellation on the crop and the field edging was a lot different to what I thought they told us they were doing at FarmCom. And, you know, if you think that, well, the edge of this crop line I'm going down here, this is a 4x map, yet what you were working as a field had an even more pronounced tessellation, and I wasn't expecting to see that with what they've done under the base engine. And so all that said to me is that they've got some performance challenges under the covers that they may have fixed by launch, but they certainly weren't confident enough in them to set you guys loose on a system with those characteristics. So that's a bit of a shame, I think, for PC users. I think it'll be a while before we see a PC version that performs at the level we would hope. That's my guess. So that's just what I read between the lines. And whilst I certainly accept that it might look better when you're looking directly at the screen, I reckon for the most part the fog looks like smog, and it's as annoying as all get out. It get old very, very quickly. But that said, the key question I've got is I'm not quite sure how to approach the launch as a junior content creator. I'm sure I'll find something. I'm just not at the moment, based on what I'm seeing, I'm not inspired. I can't think of an angle to pursue yet, which is interesting because I haven't been through this process before. I have no doubt that that was the information they provided you. Oh, I understand that. Yes. Yeah. I'm cool with that. guess what I'm wrestling with is when I chose to start, I had some ideas that I was tossing around of, you know, stories I might be able to tell and things I might be able to do and aspects that I found interesting that I hadn't seen anyone else deal with. But at the minute, I don't feel like I'm stocked with those things based on what I've seen so far. That doesn't mean they won't come or that I can't figure them out when I get a chance to play with the new version. But I was expecting to have had some ideas by this stage based on what, you know, people like yourself and FSG were already talking about and showing. And so that's just a little bit of a curiosity for me, I guess. And the other thing is, 3 weeks from a major launch, they shouldn't be making big changes to any aspect of the base, because that'll just introduce instability at launch. You know, they've still got enough work to do to get their packaging, and I mean software packaging, sorted, streamlined, get all of the code that might be in there that they don't want to release hidden away, all that sort of stuff. That takes time and effort. But it'll be interesting nonetheless. And it was certainly great to see all you guys having a good time. That equipment that Case gave you all the opportunity to experience, that was fantastic. That was worth traveling halfway around the world for just in its own right. I've certainly done business trips to Europe or the US with less upside than those for 2 or 3 days. Oh, wow. I mean, there was nothing wrong with what they did for you, but gee, that would have been completely amazing. Well, you never know. Those opportunities might emerge. They might decide that there's a role for some of you that were there to actually build content for them. I could imagine you and FSG as an example being quite interesting propositions for them in that regard. No, exactly. Exactly. Throw the line out, Never know when something might bite. Hey, they might need a regional headquarters designed by you. Oh. I'm just wondering where you'd find room for the orange splash. Because there's not a lot of orange in the case colors. I reckon that's all we need to do. Oh, I missed a bit down the other end. Missed a bit. Tam's been complaining of very poor night's sleep since the stream started, just in case you're wondering why he's thrilled to still be awake. Yeah, in our part of the world, green with a tinge of yellow in your toilet bowl means something completely different, Tam. But hey, you run with it. It works for you. Good. So, where are we up to? We'll pop this away over here. Probably shouldn't leave the hydraulics out in the weather, but don't have a better place to put it at the moment. Now, let's go and have a look at that harvester. Oh, I don't want that. I want the truck. Where's the trucks? Have I got the truck stuck at the bottom of the map? There's a fair chance. Yes. Good guess. Now I've got big old plaster buckets that I use to keep the water out of the electrics on my trailer, at least on the plug end. Now, what am I can't do anything with these trucks parked like that. Let's move forward. The other one's empty, so let's just get him out of the way. Come on. Come on. Get round. Go, go. He'll stop, maybe. All the cheap steel it's doing my head in, Jason, at the moment. I'm getting so sick of buying hardware components from Bunnings only to find that they're not actually made of what I think they're made of. For example, what, Tam? Get us all excited about something. Or are you not allowed to talk about it? If you're not, that's okay too. Yeah, I think even suggesting it's steel is like it. You can't do that with French champagne. I don't think you should be able to use Chinese and steel in the same sentence. It's either steel or it's Chinese. It's not both. I want to go. Toffee. Chinesium. Yeah, there you go. It's a new element. Ah, fabulous, Tam. I have a concept I hadn't been able to figure out. I was waiting for the new version of the game to see if I got a few more bits that would enable me to do that. That is definitely something I'm looking for. And if I could just get my blender skills about 5 years more advanced, there's a couple of Aussie shearing sheds that I'd love to be able to bring to life. So that's a good thing. I think that would be a big step forward. I mean, as all of you would know, I'm loving the expandable pastures. Yep. Perfect. So does that mean I'm going to get sheepdogs and other herding animals that I can use to drive my my livestock where I want them to go? What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to send you somewhere, and I'm trying to send you to field 147. I have to turn you on first. There we go. Yep. Oh no, we fell through the trailer. Right, so yes, very good, Grant. It's a code name. There is a herding stick. The herding stick is just like a big trailer. I mean, I use on here, I actually like Olaf's I think it's Olaf's mod. Where are we? I go to if I go to the cow shed, I've got to go there, don't I? So let's try the map. Go up to the cows like there. So if I stand in the point, so I can move. I can use the move command to move stock from one place to another place. So that works really well. Quite like that. That's it. The move animal husbandry spot is fabulous. Which is why well, it's not why, but it's how we manage here, because we've got our milk cows by the shed so they can be milked. But out here in the grazing area, we've got our, oops, where are we? There we go. In our grazing pasture, we've got the young animals. It's easier to see that from this screen, isn't it? So the cow shed actually contains the milkers, and then all of the young animals we're raising are on pasture and only being fed hay. So we're kind of getting there, and I am really hoping that in FS25 we can take a lot of these concepts further, because that'll make a whole side of the game a lot more interesting from my standpoint, which will be cool. Yeah, so the move mod is terrific. I love it. I use it everywhere since I found it. Well, it's particularly useful like in this situation where if I've got a gate down here and a gate down there, I should be able to open both the gates and then just, you know, in effect, move the sheep across the road. I shouldn't have to go and get a semi to do it. And so the move mod is a good way to make that happen and keep the immersion in the gameplay. So I really like it. We've got lorry on here, so let's take you across. Whoop. Make the corner, make the corner. I suppose it didn't really matter. Whoop, missed the gate. There we go. Now, where did I get to up here? We did the one at the top. We haven't taken enough bales off here. What did I do with the other? No cows were harmed. Absolutely not. What we are looking for... Oh. I brought you back so I could fill you up with lime. Now we'll... back to normal programming this week, so I will be back on Thursday evening. So that's good. Only a couple of weeks till FS25. But I think that's where we might leave it for this evening, folks. I have enjoyed everyone's company. Thanks for dropping by. Glad we could keep you awake, Tam. Hope Ugsy's over his jet lag and doesn't have too many more trolls to deal with. But until Thursday, stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you next time.